otherwise there's a lot of traveling to be doing in 1 or 2 days. So but I do thank y'all again. Not much has been happening that I'm aware of. I haven't heard a lot of complaints. Usually I'll hear a lot of things, concerns if something's going on somewhere. And so everything's been pretty peaceful. If you all came with any issue in particular, just raise your hand and we'll just jump right in and start trying to answer questions. If you have something that's more personal or private, you can wait to the end and grab me then. But if you just have something that you think is of general information, I was looking at this year's legislative highlights. Glad to pass that around if anybody wants to see it. But it shows the table of contents with the legislative highlights, the budget highlights, and the accolades and accomplishments, the illegal immigration proposal on tuition, educational freedom, K-12 education, higher education, government efficiency, agriculture, energy, natural resources. It's just kind of a smorgasbord of all kinds of things. And I think we talked last time about the state budget. Does anybody remember what the state budget is? Terry, you really read it and weep. The $59.8 billion.
I was going to say about 60.
Close to $60 billion. And the largest, and I say this is not mathematically correct, but divided into thirds. Only one is a bigger third, and then kind of a third, and then kind of a smaller third. But it rounds out to a little bit more than a third and a little bit less than a third, but right at a third. Number one budgetary item on the Tennessee state budget,
School.
education. And number two, which one? Care. And so medical benefits. And then number three is TDOT, Department of Transportation, Department of Safety, Department of Environment Conservation, Department of Economic Development, the General Assembly, and all the costs associated there for the House and the reps and whatever. Everything else is in the smaller third, which lets you know the priorities in Tennessee, and that is a lot of money that's going to education, a lot of money that's going to healthcare. And then we're being very frugal with the third that's divided amongst everything else in the General Assembly. But did anyone have any comment, any soapboxes? There's my Democrat friend. He's faithful and true.
Well, do you want to talk about the $70 million backlog in highways?
The 70 million, of course, how you figure your money and how you go. The Department of Transportation is critical. And the things that Tennessee is accountable for, education, transportation, public safety, those are the three things that really constitutionally we're accountable to do. And transportation in Tennessee, with the roads increasing because the population is increasing and the routes are kind of changing, whereas you've got now a huge number of people living in Williamson County traveling up this direction. We've got Rutherford County that's creeping into Warren County, creeping into Coffee County, creeping into Bedford County. I mean, Rutherford County is just spreading everywhere. And so certain roads are going to have to be improved and have to be corrected. And we're going into, one of the solutions the governor came up with that I didn't support was the public-private partnership, but it's mostly going to be on one of the choice lanes. It's supposed your choice to use it, and you will pay a toll to use it. And but it's not a road that you have to use, but it's a road you can quote unquote use if you're getting an asphalt and you think you can go faster in the toll lane. And then you get a bill. And the thing that I really didn't like about it is different times of day where they can computer generate and determine what the traffic is going to be, and they will charge more during peak hours than they do in regular hours. And so you can't say it's always going to cost me this amount to get on that telephone. Depends on what time of the day you're getting on it, depends on how much traffic is on it with you. It's something that will be scaled. And then, so when you get your bill, it'll be what it'll be. I don't like doing business that way. Anybody thinks that's a great idea? I guess if I really wanted to use the road and I used it, I wouldn't care what it cost.
St. Louis has something similar, it's free.
Pardon?
St. Louis has something very similar, it's free from the airport to 271.
Mhm. They created a fast lane, a choice lane, kind of to get from that location to the other. Right. And there will be a charge for this because it will be public-private, and the private will be getting the money on that, determining what's whatever. I don't know what their structure is in St. Louis. I don't know how they fund their roads and all. I do know that the Department of Transportation does get a large amount, but not nearly the money that we go to education or to healthcare.
And I know, my daughter lives there. Huge property tax increase to pay for roads.
In St. Louis, yeah. And a lot of folks, well, not a lot of folks, I had a few folks that spoke to me today in another county regarding sales tax on food. Anybody want to start that discussion here or get any determination? Thank you, sir. Why we have sales tax on groceries in Tennessee? You're different, you know the difference between a consumption tax and a production tax. In Tennessee, we determined we don't want to do a production tax. We don't want to tax work. We don't want to tax the things we want to tax consumption. Everybody consumes. Some consume more than others. In the school, and when you're starting to look at the sales tax on food, that is, basic consumption tax. Now, a lot of people who are at poverty level get subsidies from the state and from the federal government to help them buy groceries. But on those groceries that are taxed, everybody gets it. Now, if they're using different methodologies to pay for things off of the credit card that comes from the state or from the federal government, and that's different. But when you go in and buy groceries, you're going to pay taxes because that is a consumption tax, literally and figuratively, and everybody then gets to pay a portion. I said when Temple was in graduate school, what we ate in 1 week was considerably less than what we were able to eat once he became a commissioned officer in the Air Force. He could buy all ice cream he wanted. First time in his life, and nobody was ever telling him he couldn't eat it. So after he gained how many pounds, Temple? A lot. He realized, just because you can, that means you should. And but you pay the taxes on that consumption, and according to your ability to pay for groceries too. So I think that's a fair tax. And again, Tennessee's determined we'd rather tax consumption than production.
So is that tax on food, is that the same as just our 9.75 state sales tax? Is that the same?
Yeah, that's in there. That's the sales tax. That's the same as there. And one thing that I do think needs to be gone back to, and we're not there yet, but when Bredesen was governor, and Bredesen was good governor. I mean, I think anybody would look and say he did some good things as a governor. And he was a smart man, and he was an accessible man. But one of the things he did, because there was a dip in the economy back in the time he was governor, he got the General Assembly, which he pretty much controlled at that point, to reverse the percentages of money out of that 9.7% sales tax. The larger portion went to the cities and counties of origination. And then the other part went to state. He reversed it so that the larger portion went to the state and the smaller portions were divided between the cities and counties. And a couple of years ago, I started bringing that up. And finally, we get some traction on it because they didn't want to go against the governor and take away the governor's budget. Well, no, because the point of origination is the people here that need that benefit of that sales tax, because you've got your roads, you've got your schools here, you've got your different things that you want to pay for at the city and county level. And you would prefer having a larger chunk right here. And anybody, that's, to me, that's a no-brainer, that the larger portion needs to revert back to the counties and cities of origination, because the more you're generating, probably the more you're needing too, because you're gonna have more roads, more police, more fire, more everything. Yes, ma'am.
What were the two amounts that were swapped? What percentage, was it 5.75 and 4, or?
No, it was almost like 2/3 and a third. And that, I would, it's not exact, but it was significant, which made sense when it was the other way, for the state to be getting it, and then the counties and cities having to be fighting over this. And then you end up with the counties and cities with their hat in hand going up to ECD or whatever else they do for a grant.
Mhm.
And to me, that's egregious that you're having to go and beg to get grants when in fact a lot of that money originated in your county. And so it's just, I don't go with the word fair, not many things are like a fair, but equitable.
Mhm.
It's more equitable to have that money stay at the point of origination. And I wish there was some way that we only would have to send up that portion the state should get, not send it up
Didn't get it back.
and get it back. I'm sure there's concern that some places might not send up all, that even though they're gonna get their portion, I don't know, but I think we could work that out. And I think trust would have to enter into it, but and there are ways to validate and check out those things anyway. So I really think it would be better for us to go back and not do it incrementally. There were two bills, one did it, like pull the Band-Aid off, just pull it off.
Mhm.
Don't pull it off a little bit at a time, it's still gonna hurt. And it would be better to go ahead and get used to it. And right now, I may have said this last month, but when I was first elected, the government in Nashville, their budget was about, and I'm playing guessing games, who wants just to throw out a guess?
Probably half.
I mean,
About half.
what it is now, it was less than half, 27 billion. And then when Billy became governor, it was about 47 billion. And now, this year, it was 59.8 or whatever. So that's a significant increase in 14 years, more than doubled, way more than doubled what it was for the whole life of the state of Tennessee to get up to 27 billion. Pardon?
You're seeing similar proportions on local levels.
And a lot of the inflation, things cost more. And so it does take more money, and you're bringing in more money because things cost more and the tax is based on the cost. So all of that begins to even out in a way if you could eliminate how much of that was due to inflation. If you were to really see, then you would know, well, yeah, that makes sense because inflation spiked. And so that amount of money is not bringing in as much as it brought in before. It's a larger amount, but a smaller value. Does that make sense? And so now we just need to be careful, though, that when you start dealing in billions and billions of dollars, sometimes the money loses its value. You begin it becomes inflated in your mind, even, a billion here, a billion there. Pretty soon you're talking real money. And there was a little thing. How tall would the stack of $100 bills be to do $3 million? So anyway, whatever it was about 3 feet tall. And then you said, but how tall would it be to do, that's 3 billion. And it was to the moon. And people do not realize there's a whole lot of difference between $1 million and $1 billion.
Don't we have a balanced budget amendment though that kind of protects us in Tennessee? Don't we have a balanced budget amendment?
We do not want a deficit budget. Yeah.
We're not like the federal government that can just keep printing money and.
But I really think one of the best things we can do is get that ratio back in order so that your cities and counties are getting their portion of that sales tax. And that eliminates, any department or any agency at the state level. Oh, we've got this much money. We could do this. Just because you could, that means you should. And so it becomes a temptation to grow government. Whereas when you send that money to the local level, you're growing your economy because you're investing it directly into the roads, the safety, the whatever.
So are you planning on carrying legislation to see that happen this session?
I have carried that before and they have shot it down by using that incremental, but we could go back. I'm glad to bring it back up where we are now. Just to jump on in there and pull the Band-Aid off. That our towns and counties are in need of it directly. And the state can pull in its belt and type it up.
Well, I know a lot of positive changes that Executive Bill's been making here in Warren County is being through grant money. We've had to go.
We've been fortunate on that part in the counties. A lot of people don't understand property tax is we have a wheel tax, generates a little money, but basically all of it has to come from property tax, the majority of what we're spending. So that makes all your property owners wonder why everybody turns to property tax. But that's basically the only avenue that the cities and counties have to really raise revenue.
And I haven't put the pencils or the paper, but when you look at the percentages of that amount of money in Nashville, what that would like, that would be, once it was gone back to the point of origination, that would be significant. Plus, it would be back at a point of production.
Yeah, so the grants we're talking about, basically, she's right. We set the money down there and then we have to fill out all this paperwork to get it back and tell us how we can spend it.
Right.
And so it's too much control too over a few people who determine the grants. And, I'm not insinuating that anybody's criticizing, but you know, people everywhere. And you want to make sure that it's equitable. Go back to the word equitable.
I have a question. This is off a different subject, but you were talking about food earlier. I have a 21-year-old and a 19-year-old and myself who frequent grocery stores, you know, in Warren County, Dollar Generals and gas stations, whatever. In the last month, 3 different times in 3 different locations, we have witnessed cashiers ringing up groceries that the person paying was not buying. For example, 2 cases of water, they rang up to turn around and give this person cigarettes on their EBT. You know what I'm saying? They're scanning stuff that qualifies for the food stamp.
A black market is what you're saying.
Is that, okay, so I mean, I'm sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, there goes my tax dollars in 6 packs of Marlboros. It's the truth. So, I mean, but this is the race. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard when you need it. No, what it was, who?
Homer.
Gone. If you have any question regarding anything that's on that program, ask him.
They have a computer system in St. Louis that watches that stuff because I'm a convenience stores busted and they find out algorithms. If they do it a lot, they can find out how much water they got and how much they sold and come and get them. But they've got to do it a lot.
Well, it was 3 different places. It wasn't all the same. It wasn't the same clerk at the same spot.
Right. So it is, and it becomes an irony in that oftentimes, because they do it so frequently, they don't even know that what they're doing is highly illegal.
They're trying to help somebody, but.
They're just,
they
yeah,
don't know.
they're just, and they don't realize, no, you cannot do that.
Yeah.
They're doing it to make money.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
They discarded it's just.
That's the whole trick up in Appalachia. They buy Pepsi by the case, and then they buy it and they sell it for half price back to a store. You know, that's been going on forever. I don't know how you overcome.
Well, that is something that I will look into,
Okay.
a way to track that more, and that should be able to look and see if there's an inordinate amount of water being sold at certain convenience stores and whatever. We're just gonna have to tighten that. And that grows government in a way, but that's protecting the taxpayer. Because it's not like that.
Right, it's protecting the taxpayer, but the stores obviously should be penalized or fined or whatever that needs to happen for doing that. But what about the customer that's demanding, like, one person was one customer was very adamant that this cashier do that. And she was reluctant at first, but then when he got,
Belligerent.
yeah, she caved. That's the one I went, that was at a Dollar General.
Mhm. Well, maybe we need to put some undercover.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Artie in the store, he was frozen in the hunter's house,
Yeah.
whatever, trying to see who was stealing, what the lady was stealing. But,
I mean, I know that might seem minor,
No, it's
but I mean, I saw it in my mind, and I was like, what is happening?
and then in case you didn't see it the first time, the Lord says, here, let me show it to you again. Okay, now, one more time, and three more before you speak up. Thank you. I'm sorry.
I think it's really important to get on top of it now, because now those EBT cards or SNAP or whatever can't be used for junk
Right.
and sugary.
Right,
drinks and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
Thanks
if
to
they
Robert
want their-
Kennedy Jr.
Yeah, if they want their junk, they gotta cheat.
Yeah.
So it's not gonna get better anytime.
This wasn't even Snowdrop, this was, I'm kid you not, 6 packs of cigarettes is what I went.
Yeah.
Wow.
On, it was Snap.
All right, everybody else been doing any undercover work? I'll come up with all this wonderful legislation. And really, concerned citizens are the next source of real information in your county. I think that really makes a difference.
Well,
Yes,
when it comes to what she's talking about, can you not make them require these stores to ask for ID to match their name on that card? Or, I hate to say it, I might need SNAP tomorrow. I put a picture of yourself on that corner of that card and you gotta match the ID. A digital face that's on the card of the person. It's
Yeah,
not,
but if
you
the-
can't use it.
If the cashier, I mean, if the face matches, but the cashier is still scanning cases of water.
That's when you find the store owner and the clerk itself.
Right.
And then you can probably find a way to suspend that card for a temporary time.
Sure.
yeah,
I think there's an 800 number you can call to report fraud and abuse.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Every federal agency has a phone number.
Yeah.
okay, you saw it, you call it.
Okay.
The state of Tennessee knows how to get sales tax, so they'll come in, because some of these stores, they don't pay sales tax. And the state, through St. Louis, will come in and find out how much beer, how many cigarettes you bought. Then they know how much your sales tax should be, and they shut them down around here.
Yeah, we have done it. I've been,
It's pretty powerful.
yeah, it is powerful.
We lost a big Mexican restaurant.
It got personal with you.
We did.
What is on your legislation? Take that for the next session. Anything big?
I still had some legislation from the last session that I didn't carry through. And right off, and I just have to sit down with it, and I apologize for not having that this with me. But someone said, Bill 743. No, I Bill 743. I remember the title and the caption, and because you're dealing with the House members. This is kind of an answer to your question in a roundabout way, because we just heard the rumor that the House members are going to be able to carry only 10 bills this year. If they can only carry 10, there's 99 of them, and there's 33 of us. That's going to reduce the number of bills, not proportionally, because they'll come to some of us more than they go to other senators. You know, if they have a bill related to this, that, or the other, they'll pick out the senator they want to take it to, or whichever committee they want it to go through, and they'll strategically try to do that. But and that will definitely, last year it was 15. So this is a third fewer bills.
Is it self-imposed by them?
Yes, it's imposed by the leader of the House. They determine. Now, initially you want to say, well, that's just terrible, that's horrible. What it does do is it clarifies the need for the legislation. Now, will you not be able to carry a few good bills? Maybe you should have, maybe. But when it was unlimited, people were carrying legislation, and your tax dollars are having to pay for it to go through the different committees and go through this and pay the different legal service people and all. That was showboat legislation. It really wouldn't have accomplished very much anyway, but it's a soundbite. I carry legislation, do such and such. It will eliminate that. It will make the legislation, I think, more meaningful. There will be bills that are purposeful and are needed, and you can justify. It won't just, I'm going to run this one, and my Uncle Joe said he wanted me to run this one, and somebody said, so. It won't be that kind of junk bill.
So will they cut the time that the sessions or the legislatures in session?
There could be a reduction in time just due to the process. If these are, say, let's say each person can carry 10 bills. And if you're chairman of certain committees, that committee chair is charged with those bills if it comes to that committee. So that they will get more. But if you look at the actual number going through each committee, then that obviously will decrease the amount of time spent in reviewing each bill that comes before that committee. And so the ones that do come before the committee will be more succinct, I think, and more direct. I mean, it's obvious to see what they're there for, and everybody can agree they're needed for someone to agree to carry it. Because you don't want to fill up your 10 bills with junk bills. Someone wants me to carry something on this that you know is not going to pass. It's not universally applicable. But I think that if it reduces the number of days we're there, that's a cost savings. And it possibly could.
Ms. Bowman, can you give us a time frame that's good to start a bill with your representative? July, August, September, you don't want to wait till January, the second week like that. And if this, do you think this reduction in number of bills up there will change that time frame, lengthen it, shorten it, or when's a good time to start?
I think that it would, in a way, shorten it, but it could lengthen it. Once you know you've got something good, go ahead and get it in as soon as possible. And because really, it's not that once you get it in there, there's the same intensity at each step of the way. That then spreads out. But you want to make sure that when you get the bill in there, there's time to get it before legal. Then legal classifies it and says yes, and then it's assigned to committees. So there's a legal process. Typically, they don't start doing that until January. But if you go ahead and you've got those bills in the hopper, so to speak, you know, and it's already, that gives you the opportunity too, because I've had to do this. You give the idea for the bill. I've had people write out 20 pages of whereas and therefore, and that goes in the trash. What does the bill do? Because we have to give that to legal, and they have to go in the Tennessee Code and determine what is going to be changed in Tennessee Code and what's going to be revised, what's going to be added to, what's going to be taken from. So it's a legal process regarding Tennessee Code. And so if you've got a bill that's going to change some existing code, yeah, you ought to get that. If you've got something that's fairly a new concept or whatever, but it's still going to impact code. So go back to saying the earlier the better. Because if you do hit a roadblock with that bill in code where they're having to figure out how to do it, if they're going to eliminate that or add this, how they're going to do it. So once you do all that and it comes out, then once you get into committee, it's already like it's going to be, unless someone wants an amendment, and the person carrying the bill can agree that committee amendment, and then that should be written up and come right back. That shouldn't take very long at all. It's the process. You might have to roll the bill for a week, but the sooner the better. If you have an idea for legislation, and that's, I mean, that's great for people to do.
I've heard the term summer study. So is that you left it over to get presented and going through, or is that starting right as soon as April's over with and we're going to study this for next session?
No. What summer study usually means is it's a slow death out of the sight where the people in the committee won't have to vote against it. So, oh, this is such a complex, let's just send this to a summer study. And then it can die a gentle, quiet death and nobody had to vote. So that is my observation. That's my observation in summer studies. I have had bills, the notification bill. How many know what notification is? How many of you know that it's constitutional? How many know that you can argue notification? All my bill did was to give 5 ways that either the people, 2,000, or the General Assembly, the House, the Senate, or the governor, or the AG could bring forward something that the feds had done that we say is unconstitutional, that's overreach. And this is why. That's already available. All my bill did was to give some structure and some form to do it orderly and to create a little more accountability, because if the people, and 2,000 people would say, whoa, the feds have no authority to do that. And the feds have a small garden to hoe in. I mean, the feds compared to the states have real limited power. We have allowed the federal government to go, and like I've said to another group, where people think the states work for the feds and the cities work for the state, and that's not the way it is. These are separate, distinct bodies with separate and distinct constitutional authority.
And one other, to add to that point, a federal agency is not the federal government.
No.
So a CDC or even WHO or whatever, that is not somebody that can come into Warren County and say, you have to.
They have no legal
A CDC
authority.
can recommend something all day long, an FDA
They can
will recommend all day long, but it doesn't make it mandatory.
No, it doesn't make it legal.
Right.
And so people need to know who has what authority over what, and people have to know what their freedom is too. And I think that's the real catchy part. So if you go back to the state level, and we're doing bills that have to be, they can't be contrary to what our Constitution forbids. But then there's a lot of leeway where they could be another bill. The federal government is very limited in what it's supposed to have jurisdiction over. So if they do something that interfere with your freedom of your medical decisions, you know, you're out of your lane. You're out of your lane. But if people think that the federal government has absolute authority, then that's called tyranny. That's not a government at all. But that's up to individual citizens to look at the constitutions, to read the constitutions, to know where this power ends and where this one begins, but where our authority as people. The federal government and state governments were designed to protect the freedom of the people, not to infringe on it, not to become dictators and lords. And we're a constitutional republic based on the rule of law. That's important.
Are you interested in bringing that medical cannabis bill back to the session?
I have brought it up since then, only to never get it out of committee.
Right.
Medical cannabis, I was against it 110% until I studied it. And Dr. Raphael Meshulam in Israel, who done 50 years of intense study on medical cannabis. And do you know, could we have a legal medical cannabis program in the state of Tennessee? Yes or no? Temple's saying yes, and we can. And the reason we can, because in 2014, Rohrabacher, who was then a state rep from California, but he's no longer there, but the Rohrabacher Amendment is added to the federal budget every year that says there will be no monies expended on prosecuting an intrastate cannabis program. Intrastate. So right now, 38 states have legal medical cannabis programs. It has to be controlled within that state. It has to be grown, it has to be tested, whatever your program says, it takes place within your state. I was looking at a lot of different states and looking at the fact that the black market in Nashville, Tennessee is $1 billion for drugs. And a lot of that is cannabis, well, medical cannabis, but mostly cannabis. Who knows where it's coming from? Who knows what's in it? Medical cannabis is grown so that there's a limited amount of THC in it. The CBD is where the healing comes from. The THC kind of fires, but you can still limit that and have a product that neurologically, pain-wise, on a lot of, there's about 28 different medical diagnoses that respond very favorably to medical cannabis. Who would be a natural enemy of medical cannabis?
Big Pharma.
Big Pharma. Big Pharma hates it because you can't patent a natural product. And so in 2019, Fauci, I'm sorry to use his name in mixed company, but he did a lot of things, and among the things that he did, they sent someone from the Department of Health to China and got medical cannabis approved for China. All right, do you know where 90% of our medicine originates? So they were already in 2019, and guys, and they had just shut down that ability to investigate medical cannabis. That after Dr. Raphael Meshulam had come up with all these uses in Israel, it caught Fauci's ear. That was back in 89, 90. And they created a very limited scope of companies that could test for the efficacy of medical cannabis. Before, all you can test with marijuana or medical cannabis is the negative. You can only look for the problems. This was going to allow to look for the benefits. So they formed GW Pharmaceuticals out of England, and another group, I can't remember right now the name of it, out of New York, and they started investigating medical cannabis for benefits. And they had some patents on it that they filed in 2019. And so that's when everything kind of blew up though, with our medical industry and all, as we went through the COVID. But right now, that issue, some people are thinking about it again. That's coming to the forefront because it's very good for pain. It's very good for, as I said, 28 different things. And 38 states now have that ability. And I think I've told you, most of y'all know, I got a visit from a neurosurgeon from the University of Alabama in Birmingham, UAB. And he sent the House member who had been a member of the Alabama Bureau of Investigation before he became House member, and the doctor, the senator was a doctor, and he had gone to them because he saw my bill online. He said, this is what we need to pass in Alabama, because Alabama was allowing doctors to test medical cannabis and to control environments like that. And he had found out it was extremely efficient. And especially with children and epilepsy and other kinds of seizures and whatever, it was a huge benefit. So he said, go talk with her, see if she'll let us use her bill in Alabama. So they passed my bill in Alabama, and I was invited down when the governor of Alabama signed my bill into law. And it was a mixed blessing there because I was glad for the people of Alabama, but it made me so sad that right across the state line, and you'd be put in prison for getting what was actually good for your child. And so parents were there and people who suffered from cancer and whatever. So Alabama got to pass the bill. In Tennessee, the pharmacist, a lot of pharmacists in the General Assembly, and they fight it. So it does not get very far at all. The sad thing is, some of them have said to me directly, we don't want to approve it in Tennessee until it's taken off schedule, because then we'll be able to prescribe it and make tons of money. And I said, so in the meantime, you're glad for people to suffer and not have access to it because you can't make money off of it, because pharmacists cannot, it's a controlled substance, they can't prescribe it. And I said, you know, your white tax not nearly as white as it used to be. And so when you looked at it that way and realized that they recognize the value, but they want to wait till it's taken off schedule. Just like I said, what's going to happen when it's taken off schedule? Will we be able to start our program up in Tennessee and control it and have the farmers of Tennessee able to grow it and the different areas of testing, the different labs to grow up in Tennessee have a built-in seed to sale. It would be controlled and tested by the state of Tennessee. But if it's legal, it'll come in with the evening mail. I mean, there's no control over it then. And so the great sucking sound will be the money going out of Tennessee and product coming into Tennessee from China, from Eastern Europe, from all over the United States where they've already legalized it. And right now, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Arkansas, it's already legal in all those states for an intrastate program. And some of their programs are not that good. Our program was really going to be good. But anyway, we'll find out if they take it off schedule. We're a day late and a dollar short.
It's Schedule 1.
Pardon?
It's Schedule 1.
Mhm.
You can't get any higher schedule. I don't think Tennessee will do it, for years, because
There was an article looking at reducing that for medical cannabis. So if he was to do that, I think that would open the door to Texas. But that was just an article saying he's considered.
It's funny because I had a bill this past year that said in order to have a CDL license and drive in Tennessee, you had to be literate in English. How many of you think that's an okay law? That's pretty common sense.
Well, all the road signs are in English.
Pardon?
Because all of our road signs are in
All
English.
the road signs are in English. A lot of directions are in English. A lot of it, there's where there's a detour. You know, you really got to be able to read things in. But when that was killed in committee, they would not let that out of committee. It's too important to people that own trucking companies to hire people mostly from Eastern Europe. Is where a lot of the drivers are coming from. But if they're illiterate in English and the trooper pulls them over for some kind of gross violation and they can't even communicate. And it's problematic. So
Don't they have to get their CDL license here? Or is it valid from Europe?
they're allowing it to come and they're not requiring English. And so Trump found out about it. And that's been changed by executive order. Is that right, Tim?
And there, in some places, they take 1,500 non-English speaking drivers that they put them off the road. Just you see the headline.
And that, there are people who can speak English and drive the CDL license. We shouldn't have to be, for a variety of reasons, dependent on international drivers to haul everything. I mean, what kind of nonsense is that? That becomes a national security issue if you don't even have your own people who can drive the trucks. So whatever they're translating.
I'm so sorry, this is no segue to this, but the reason my beautiful daughter-in-law is here is because she's on the board of the new McMinnville Children's Museum. Anybody aware of it? So we want to give you guys
I watched
some of the.
Yeah, she was on board first this morning. Hey, Lindsay.
Hi, how are you?
Magnolia Children's Museum.
Yes,
Okay, I'm not aware of Children's Museum. Tell me all about it.
And I'm so sorry to interrupt this. I have to pick up my kids in a few minutes. But I'm on the board of this wonderful organization. It's 501c3. And we just got established as an official charity. And we are trying to help ourselves and around Warren County to establish a wonderful educational organization to help kids and to learn through just not by school, but just through STEAM and
STEM or STEAM.
and yes, which
Arts.
arts, yes. And so our mission is to obviously, I have a pamphlet here for everybody, but is to provide a positive, nurturing environment to promote education and development from all the children of Warren County and our surrounding communities. Sure, thank you. And right now, we're just trying to get established and hopefully break ground within the next 4 to 5 years. So, and I'm just trying to get our name out there. And if anybody has information that could give me to help us raise money and whatnot, that'd be great. So, thank you for listening.
What are the
Thank you
inspiration
for doing
games?
Sorry.
What are the inspiration games?
So the president, who's not here, my name is Lindsay and her name is Lindsay. We kind of brought together an idea for this county that needed more learning for the kids around here and something to do and something that's educational. So we created this out of our
Is there a prototype anyplace else that you've looked at and patterned yourself after, or is this your round up?
could you repeat that?
Okay, I said, is there a prototype? Is there a place where, over in East Tennessee or West Tennessee or somewhere they have this and we really think it's working well? Or is this just something that originated with you?
It originated with us,
Yeah.
yes. I was a former teacher myself, so we just talked and got to know each other. And I'm actually from Chicago, so she's born and raised here. So when we got together, we kind of pulled our heads and our brains together and we just went over, what do we need in this community? What can help raise education for kids and raise test scores? Because we know Warren County has lower test scores, they need help. So the kids around here need help. So that's what we're aiming towards, is to help kids.
Early opportunities, hands-on.
Yeah.
I mean, there are children's, museums all over the place. There's one in Murfreesboro, but I think this concept would be really focused on like younger kids and giving them something to do where they're learning the concepts, the STEAM concepts.
Yes. Science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and arts. So we're going to have exhibits in this building, wherever it will be. We don't have a location yet.
Right.
We're just,
What footprint do you envision? What size?
wow. We're looking to have something that's about 4 to 5 acres. And to build.
So you're outdoor.
So we can have outdoor, indoor activities.
So under the roof, like
And on-
square feet, you don't know.
No, probably, it'll be pretty big. We need a big size plot of land, so.
And I'm not grilling you, I'm asking.
No, that's okay.
That's a great idea. And little seeds can produce great big fruit, which is a good thing. With the children, have y'all school board, have you gone to parent groups or how are they receiving it?
We've done a few fundraisers. In the spring, we had one. We're going to be in the autumn street fair here. We're doing as much as we can. And we're looking for more to gain.
They've applied for a grant.
We've applied for grants. We're still waiting to hear back from quite a few. We've gotten one grant so far. And we're just trying to have better knowledge.
I had a crazy idea, and I don't think it worked, because I see what you're wanting to be inclusive with the indoor, outdoor, whatever. And is there something similar to that over in Columbia,
I've not
in
been.
Murray County? It seems like there's some kind of,
I think for Warren County, the closest things that we would have that would be Murphy Springs and Murfreesboro. They are an indoor outdoor facility, but their outdoor facility is more of a, this is gonna be awful, it's like a swamp. But you know, it's a ecosystem where the students can
Right.
see the habitat of, you know, the ecosystem of like a swamp style. But then also, you know, Tullahoma has a hands-on
sorry.
science center, but and they do some outdoor activities, but that's almost all related strictly to science, not a lot of engineering or mathematics or arts or things like that. But so you're wanting something that's geared more towards like early childhood or early
It'll be,
elementary?
our age group is 2 to 12.
There is something very similar to what you're envisioning in St. Louis that I go, every time I go to St. Louis, my grandchildren take me there. And it ranges from, I think, 2 to 12. And they like there's plumbing they get to learn about. There's like a big bubble machine
Right.
and there's lots of hands-on indoor, outdoor, but it's not like a swamp area.
No.
Learn about a swamp area, but it's the math of being a waitress,
Right.
you know. They even have where you can like feed a baby
Right.
and stuff like that.
It'll be a lot like that.
Yeah, it's a
It'll be very
wonderful
hands-on.
place. It's a
you know,
wonderful.
It'll be a water, children learn about water. What does this do?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
They-
know if
yeah.
you're familiar with Blippi, if you have younger children,
Right.
but my kids loved it, and a lot of his videos are at children's museums, which I've got a lot
Yeah,
of information from, so.
yeah.
You
they
do
even-
that in Chattanooga?
I guess, it's great. So it'll be very
I'm
soon.
excited for you.
We've got a lot to look forward here in Warren County. Executive Bell was just talking about some of his vision for what's going on, especially with our waterways and things like that. But I can't wait to ask the senator about the event center that we've been talking about. And Executive Bell was talking about an event center through Rose's. Executive Bell, you got anything to say about that?
You're on the campus. I said, let's talk to you about it Saturday. But,
Then tune in Saturday.
yeah, we're looking at maybe trying to get some help from the state to, it'll probably be up for $1 million. Trying to buy the ground behind the mall and raise the roof on the Roses building, use that for our Ag Expo Center. And put in a boat ramp and a lot of campsites. And yes, it's got a really good view of the mountains right behind Fort Jay's. If you go out and eat at Jay's, you can see that beautiful view out there.
So there's not any room over at the mall, huh?
Not for, as a matter of fact, I've got 2 tenants I'm on now. It's pretty quick. It's going in out there. So, I'm not gonna have a lot of room left.
How about building?
That's good news.
You're talking about the mall.
Yeah,
Yes.
the event center. He asked me about the event center that
Right.
I laid out and of course, we'll need the help of, Senator Bowling to push this through the governor. She was good and gracious enough to get us a meeting with the governor. And I don't know how she took it away, but we kind of needed an exact location, an exact plan and everything. He seemed interested.
He did. Well, but he did want us to do all that due diligence
Yeah.
and whatever. And it's a lot of work always, as you know. But typically good ideas like that, anything that involves the children and help their children, that's awesome. And so, and it's a labor of love.
Yeah.
That's a labor of love for sure. Then, I apologize for the coughing jag. I was telling you, yes, that, I'm not contagious. I would not have come. I think I told you this already. I do have bacterial pneumonia right now. From starting to laugh when someone at the table next to us in a Mexican restaurant a week ago said something and I'd taken a bite of Mexican hamburger with jalapenos on it. And I aspirated the jalapeno, a part of one. And so ended up, long story short, finally at the doctor on Thursday, and they said, yeah, my lower right lung. So I'm on medication and I'm not contagious. But when I start coughing, it'll take over. And so I do apologize for the coughing jag there, but I'm fine, and I would not have come around folks if I thought, as my little grandson, when he found out my mother had to have brain surgery, they thought she was going to have to. She had a tumor, and he looked and he said, "So she's not going to get her head cut open?" We said, "No." He was not. He said, "But Nana, is it catching?" I said, "No, it's not catching either." But so he was a 5-year-old concerned about his great grandmother, but at the same time concerned about was it catching. So I'm not catching. It is just, unfortunately, don't ever aspirate for it. It's just good.
Hope you feel better soon.
Sorry.
Hope you feel better soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And I am feeling better, but it's just, when it starts tickling and you start coughing, it takes over. And
I feel your pain.
yeah. And I have a lot of honey and vinegar and things that we take, natural things to try to help it out too. So we're doing very well. Are there any, I don't even know what time it is.
It's 2
1
o'clock.
o'clock. Oh, it's time. Any pressing question that you just can't leave here without knowing the answer to, or whatever?
Who are you going to talk about?
Who am I going to be working out there? Aren't you? Is the media in here too?
Now we really got to get a close up on you.
Yeah. Well, it will be a beautiful floral day when we elect the gentleman that I'm supporting. No.
Sweet, my brother.
Oh, it'll be sweet, sweet smelling. Yes. And, you know, people find out who I'm for and who I'm not, whatever. And I've known he and his wife for years. And he's a workhorse. I say to people, he's a workhorse, not a show horse. He is really a smart man, and he loves Tennessee, 8th generation. And his credentials are stellar. So anyway, I'm excited to be at least a supporter. I'm not doing anything active except registering to vote. Make sure we vote. Anything else? Any other questions? Thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for letting me represent you in Nashville. Anytime y'all want to come up and spend an hour or take a tour or whatever, we'll do all we can do to arrange that. Did you have one last comment? You?
Me? Can I get a picture with you?
Yeah, certainly. Yes, right. You got it.
It'd be Saturday, and I went, I got one, two,
Yeah, but you're gonna have to, of course.
yes, ma'am.
Listen, we all need to take the course. We all need to make sure we know what our rights are. And that way, you recognize the error. There's a story of where, when they used to handle money in banks, I don't know if they didn't have money in banks anymore, but the tellers had to sit and count $100 bills. Count. And they said, why are you making a count $100? Because they didn't become familiar with the real thing.
And you also had, you could tell after a while, that didn't feel
The
right.
feel, the look, everything about it when you handle it.
Because when I worked there, I actually right around Thanksgiving time found some counterfeit bills. And I
Near the
thought,
holidays,
that
yeah.
doesn't feel right. Went back and looked, held it,
Well, thank y'all for coming. If you want a picture for real.
I do.
Okay, come on.
Take it for.
Thanks.
Hey folks, I'm Senator Janice Boland of the 16th District here in the state of Tennessee. Thank you guys for being part of
Warren first, go. I know it's after the fact. You can go ahead and ask questions, and we can try to submit those to Senator Boland whenever we get a chance. Hey, guys, thank you for being with us. We got more stuff to come, so look forward to us. And hey, remember Warren County and surrounding areas, keep it first.